Let's cut to the chase. Women know. Yeah, they can tell within minutes if a guy's low value. Think you're hiding it. Think again. It's like they've got a sixth sense for spotting the subtle and not-so-subtle signs. The best part, you don't need to be rich, jacked, or perfect to avoid the dreaded low-value label. But if you're guilty of even one of these red flags, you're probably sabotaging yourself without even knowing it. Stick around because by the end of this video, not only will you know exactly what women are spotting, but you'll know how to deal with it. Ready? Let's get into it. Number 1. Lack of self-respect shows instantly. Alright, let's kick things off with the first big one, lack of self-respect. Now you might be thinking, nah, that's not me. I've got it all together. But trust me, women are experts at spotting it, even when you don't realize it. It's like that one friend who can't hide their feelings. They wear them on their sleeve. Women can spot low-value men through behaviors like self-deprecating humor, neglecting hygiene, or just straight up not putting any effort into how they present themselves. For example, imagine that you're at a party, and you start cracking jokes about how you're a failure or can't do anything right. You think it's funny, but women pick up on that and start wondering, if this guy can't even respect himself, why should I? Even if you're just trying to be humble or self-aware, too much of this sends a message that you don't value yourself, which is a huge turnoff. And don't even get me started on grooming, or the lack thereof. I get it. Some days you just don't feel like showering. But if you're always showing up looking like you just rolled out of bed, that's a flag. Clean clothes, a fresh shave or a well-maintained beard, and smelling good don't make you a shallow guy. They make you someone who respects himself. And that's the baseline. Number 2. Overcompensating with flashy displays. Next up, flashy displays of wealth and material stuff. This one's a classic. Look, if you're constantly throwing your new watch, car, or big deal job into casual conversations, it's not doing what you think it's doing. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. When you try too hard to show off what you've got, women can spot the insecurity behind it a mile away. It's like the "I've got this cool thing, so I must be valuable" approach. Trust me, it doesn't work. Picture this. You're talking to a group, and then suddenly, you drop how much you make at your job, or how much your car costs. Sure, you're trying to sound impressive, but all it does is make you come across like you're compensating for something deeper. Women can tell when you're trying to mask your self-doubt with stuff. It's a turnoff, and it just makes you look like you're trying too hard. Instead, show up with something way more valuable, your personality. Have interesting stories, a sense of humor, and be genuine. No need to flex that new watch. If your value is tied to your material possessions, that's low-value behavior right there. Number 3. Complaining and negative energy. Here's one thing that'll instantly tank your chances, complaining. I know it feels good to vent sometimes, but when every conversation turns into a gripe session, women notice. If you're always blaming your problems on bad luck, the system, or other people, that's a huge red flag. Women want to see someone who can take life's punches and keep moving forward, not someone who gets stuck in the mud of negativity. Think about it. You're at a bar, and the guy next to you is going off about how his job sucks, how his boss is the worst, and how he's just waiting for something to happen. Sound familiar? Yeah, women pick up on that energy right away. It's not attractive. It's like you're emotionally constipated, and nobody wants to deal with that. Instead, be the guy who acknowledges challenges, but talks about how you're tackling them. Show some emotional maturity. Women like to see someone who can handle a tough situation with grace, not someone who just crumbles at the first sign of trouble. Number 4. Avoiding responsibility. Okay, here's the next big one, avoiding responsibility. This is a classic low-value move. You know who you are, the guy who's always got an excuse, whether it's at work, in relationships, or in personal growth. Avoiding responsibility is a killer. You're not going to build trust with anyone, especially women, if you can't take accountability for your actions. Let's break it down. You're at work, and you miss a deadline. Instead of owning up to it, you blame the traffic or your coworker's mistake. Then, when your girlfriend calls you out on something, you say, "It's not my fault. It's the way I was raised." And you keep hopping from job to job with no real goal or direction. Ladies can smell that stuff from a mile away. Women don't need a perfect guy. They just want someone who can own up to their mistakes and grow from them. Take responsibility for your life. Women want to know that you've got a plan and are actively working toward something, not just waiting for things to happen. Number 5. Lack of emotional intelligence. And here we go, emotional intelligence. This is where it gets a little tricky. Being emotionally intelligent isn't about being super touchy-feely or always knowing what to say. It's about being aware of how you come across in social situations, how your words affect others, and being in tune with your own feelings. If you're interrupting conversations, not picking up on social cues, or acting like a robot when someone's clearly uncomfortable, that's a red flag for women. Imagine being in a conversation, and the guy just isn't getting it. You're visibly uncomfortable, but he keeps talking about himself or ignoring the fact that you're upset. Women notice that kind of thing. It doesn't matter how funny or charming you are. If you can't pick up on basic emotional cues, you're sending a message that you're not someone who understands or respects the emotional landscape around you. So how do you fix this? Listen, actually listen. Be empathetic and show interest in others' feelings and perspectives. You don't have to agree with everything, but you do need to respect people's emotions. It shows that you're emotionally mature and ready for real connections. Number 6. Women have a radar. It's not a guess. It's instinct. Okay, let's be real here. Women don't just guess when they meet a guy. They've got this thing called intuition, but it's not magic. It's more like a series of subconscious signals that they pick up on that the average guy doesn't even know exists. It's a mix of body language, tone of voice, and yes, even the way you carry yourself in the world. And here's the kicker. Most of these signals are way more obvious than you think. Ever been in a situation where a woman just seems to know something about you right away? It's not a mind-reading superpower, it's experience. Women have been learning how to spot low-value men for years, basically since puberty. Why? Because they've had to. In a world where there are a lot of bad apples out there, they have become expert fruit pickers. Women notice things like, does he make the effort to dress well? Is he confident without being cocky? And if you're lacking in those areas, well, don't be surprised if that radar starts pinging. How to avoid being a low-value guy? Well, now that we've covered the major red flags, let's shift gears and talk about how to level up and leave those low-value habits behind. Here's the secret. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. Start by prioritizing self-care. Take pride in your appearance, keep up with grooming, and dress in a way that shows you respect yourself. No one's asking for a designer wardrobe, but don't look like you're about to go dumpster diving either. Next, focus on being authentic. Stop trying to impress people with things that don't matter, like your possessions or paycheck. Instead, let your character shine through because, trust me, that's what truly leaves a lasting impression. Emotional intelligence is another game changer. Learn to really listen, notice when somebody's uncomfortable, and respond with thoughtfulness. These skills not only make you more likable, but also build stronger, deeper connections. Finally, take responsibility for your actions. Own up when you mess up, ditch the excuses, and show that you're actively working to improve your life. Ambition and accountability are incredibly attractive traits. By making these shifts, you'll not only leave the low-value label behind, you'll step confidently into your potential as a high-value man. In the end, it's not about being perfect, it's about being real. And guess what? That's exactly what women are looking for. Now tell me, how do you plan on making yourself better? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to respond to every single one of you. Like and subscribe if you love old money elegance and understated fashion. And if you don't subscribe, it means I'll just have to wait another day to onboard you. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.